Greetings everyone. Welcome to today's class. I will be taking the class today on ethics. But before proceeding to today's class, a few things. New Year's round the corner, very first thing. The New Year's round the corner, so Happy New Year everyone. And I also express my gratitude towards the positive response that you guys have bestowed upon me. So really thankful for that. Now, starting with today's topic, what is it? Ethics. Ethics is something which is not just essential for examination but also for your life. And this class is an introductory class. So anyone and everyone can watch this. Literally anyone and everyone. Because today I'll not be discussing with you about the core themes of the syllabus or about the, so to say, what you call them, philosophers. What is Kant's philosophy? What did Aristotle and Plato had to say on ethics? What is the very genesis of ethics and all? We will be discussing that. We will be discussing about the philosophers as well, but in later classes, not now. Today there shall only be an introduction to the subject of ethics and what exactly is ethics, the what and why of it, right? The what and why, how ethics came up, that means the source and everything. That might get in detail, so I don't think I'll be covering that today. But anyone and everyone watching this, anyone and everyone can watch this, because this is a very, what can say, essential part for your professional and even personal life, right? So before starting the class today, I just remember an Urdu couplet. So I don't know the author, so due credits to the person. So the couplet goes like, धोखा दे के जीतने से बेहतर है हार जाना. धोखा दे के जीतने से तो कोई फायदा है नहीं, right? It's no use of deceiving someone and then winning. So धोखा दे के जीतने से बेहतर है हार जाना. सच्चाई की राह पे अपनी दुनिया संवार जाना, right? So that is the very basis that couplet actually puts in just what ethics is. Being honest, being having qualities like integrity and honesty and all that, that is something what ethics will teach us about. So what exactly is ethics? Now ethics, the genesis of the term ethics, it comes from the Greek term that is ethos. Now I again repeat that today we shall only be discussing about the basics of ethics and not anything in detail about the core themes. So anyone and everyone can watch this, regardless of you are a student or a professional or whatever you are preparing for, right? This is Greek. Okay. Now ethics come from the Greek word ethos. Ethos, what does it mean? Custom. Okay. Now the word for custom in Latin, what is it? This is Latin. Now this will be morality in English. Okay. So now the meaning custom in Latin is moralis, and the word for custom in Greek is ethos, right? Now this you can see, this is making like a loop, है ना? तो morality क्या, ethics और morality contemporary हो गए एक दूसरे के, congruent हो गए, rather not similar, क्या same हो गए? Are they same to each other? Is ethics equal to morality? Because lag to वैसा ही रहा है, because ethics coming from Greek, ethics coming from ethos, which is Greek meaning custom, which means moralis in Latin, which is morality, right? So are ethics and morality the same? देखिए, सबसे पहले the very first thing that you must know, if there are two words in any language, ठीक है, अगर दो शब्द हैं किसी भी भाषा में, if there are any two words existent, that means they have some sort of, some minute at least, और मतलब कुछ डिग्री का differentiation तो होगा ही होगा. Because if there is no differentiation at all, then what is the purpose of the second word? The very existence of second word is there because it means something different than the already existing words in the dictionary of that language, right? सो वही थोड़ा सा फर्क है एथिक्स और मोरालिटी में. हाँ, फर्क जो है, द डिफरेंस माइट नॉट बी वेरी एविडेंट, इट मे बी इन अ वेरी स्पेसिफिक कॉन्टेक्स्ट in certain cases, but there is a difference. Here, ethics and morality, in a very layman language, ethics is something relating to the professional. Ethics is something that relates to professional, and morality is something that relates to your personal being. Now, this is professional, this is personal, meaning this gets little objective, and morality is something that is subjective. Morality comes from within, from the customs, from the community, from the society, whereas ethics is a set of code of conduct, rather we can say. Ethics is a set of standards that are laid down in a workplace, or you can also overlap this with your personal life, but ethics is something that is used in professional terms, right? Now, why do we need to study ethics? Before proceeding to that, I'll be telling you the definition of ethics. What exactly is ethics? Now, ethics, we got to know it is used in professional sense, and it is a part of the UPSC syllabus in GS4. पूरे पेपर का नाम एथिक्स, इंटीग्रिटी एंड एप्टीट्यूड है, बट एस्पिरेंट्स के बीच में और हमारे यूपीएससी सर्कल में तो एथिक्स ही बोलते हैं पेपर को, है ना. सो एथिक्स का डेफिनेशन क्या होगा? व्हाट वुड बी द डेफिनेशन ऑफ एथिक्स? राइट. सो इफ we define ethics in a simple sense, it is a system of principles and values that guide an individual or a group to determine what is just. ठीक है? I'll repeat it. It is the set or system of moral principles and values that guide an individual or a group to determine what is just. Just मतलब सही क्या है, गलत क्या है. Ethics is the evaluation of your conduct, what you evaluate, the rationale behind your decision making. Ethics may not be the decisions that you make. Ethics might not be the decisions that you make, but ethics is something, the rationale that you put behind the making the decision. ठीक है? Decision that you make is okay, but the rationale that you put behind it and the consequences of the action that you foresee, that also is covered under the umbrella of ethics. ठीक है? Now, whenever we talk about ethics here, one thing that comes to our mind is, in professional terms only, ethics बात करते हैं तो उसके साथ आता है corruption. Every time we think is corruption, or are there any ethical standards left in the world? Is there anything ethical actually? Does being ethical reward? I will tell you why. Is ethics important? Oh, sorry. I have my board. Anyways, why is ethics important? Or what is the need of ethics, right? Just a minute. The board is not set, I guess. It's fine. So, yeah, what I was talking, corruption. So every time we think about ethics, why ethics is essential? I already told you what is ethics. It is basically, लिख भी देता हूँ मैं, चलो. What is ethics? It is the principles and values that guide your decision. ठीक है? This is your determine your decision or guide your decisions to be just. है ना? This is something. Just मतलब क्या? Just justice से आता है. That means right. है ना, राइट और रॉन्ग, या फिर व्हाट इट इज द प्रिस्क्रिप्शंस एंड प्रोहिबिशंस, है ना, प्रिस्क्रिप्शंस, अच्छा नहीं ये ज़्यादा हो जाएगा, डूज एंड डोंट्स लिख लेते हैं, प्रोहिबिशंस तो यू नो, prohibitions, don'ts, right? It is the rationale behind your decision, behind your decision making. ठीक है ना, it evaluating, ठीक है, इसमें आ गया do's and don'ts में. Now why do we need ethics? Why do we need ethics? If men were angels, no government would be necessary. This line was said by the 4th US president, I'm forgetting his name. He said that if men were angels, no government would be necessary. And he is right. अगर हर कोई इतना अच्छा हो जाता कि you know they all know what we need to do, what is just, what is the principle of equality, equity, egalitarian society, all this, if everyone is acquainted with this knowledge, तो कोई ज़रूरत है ही नहीं. बट ऐसा है क्या? नहीं है ना, इसीलिए ethics is necessary. Administration, self-administration rather. Ethics puts up a moral burden or a virtue of responsibility upon oneself that we have to behave in such a manner that it does not harm the well-being of others. ठीक है? That is why we need ethics. Now, when people say कि we are very ethical, we are not here to be corrupt, and as I mentioned, the very first word that comes into our mind when we talk about ethics is corruption. क्योंकि public services या फिर even corporate services, and even the syllabus covers a phrase corporate governance, right? So corruption comes into our mind. Now let's take a scenario. Today I'm just telling you about the idea behind ethics, right? I'm not teaching you anything as such. So this is more of an analytical class. So just sit back and enjoy. जो पहली चीज़ हम सोचते हैं ethics के साथ, जो word, that is corruption. एक example लेते हैं. There is A, there is B, and there is C. ठीक है? A, B and C, there are 3 people. मान लेते हैं they are working in a, all of them work in a business organization. ठीक है? And these 3 people are coming from their regional offices. Maybe that business firm has offices in cities A, B and C, and these people are coming from their respective cities, right? उनकी फ्लाइट का खर्चा दे दिया गया, that has already been booked. Now they have been given 1000 rupees, 1k for travel expenses, local travel expenses, for local traveling. ठीक है? Now A lands and asks for a taxi to go to the place of meeting. Taxi wala says 800. He says okay, 800. Now the amount that he can claim is 1000, right? B asks, says 800 again. The taxi wala says 800. Now he says or she says, ठीक है यार 800 है तो हमको तो 1000 मिल रहा है. ठीक है? No, sorry, this case में this person bargained, and since he knew that bargaining works as every other Indian, it got reduced to 600 and then he took it. Now C doesn't care, ज़्यादा इसको फ़र्क नहीं है. तो ये जो है C, he or she landed at the airport, asked for the taxi. Taxi वाला said 1000 रुपये. The person thought 1000 तो मिल ही रहे हैं, ठीक है, मुझे क्या करना है. Now this person claimed, आप क्लेम कर सकते हैं, there's no need to give any proof, है ना, एक petty amount. This person claimed 800 only, ठीक है. This person claimed 1000. क्लेम कितना किया? 1000. This person also claimed 1000. यहां पे तो ठीक है, हमको पता चल गया कि दिस पर्सन इज एथिकल, ही हैज द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ ऑनेस्टी, ठीक है. सी में भी हमको नहीं, सॉरी, बी में हमको पता चल गया दिस पर्सन इज अनएथिकल, क्योंकि बनने तो थे 600, इसने 400 ज्यादा लिए हैं, है ना. सो दिस पर्सन इज नॉट एथिकल. नाउ व्हाट अबाउट सी? Is this person ethical, or let's say, is this person honest, or is this person not honest? Think about it. Pause the video for a minute. Think about it. I assume that you have done that. Now, very interesting, right? Listen carefully. Very interesting. A का केस तो यहाँ पे क्लियर है कि ये तो एथिकल ही है, इसने जितना लिया था उतना ही दे दिया, क्यों, है ना. बी का केस है, जितना दिया था उतना ले लिया, आई एम सॉरी. और बी के केस में वी आर क्लियर दैट दिस पर्सन इज नॉट एथिकल बिकॉज ही ओनली और शी ओनली पेड 600 whereas claimed 1000, surplus of 400 which is not of his or her. Then C, ये दोनों का तो केस क्लियर है, बट C का हम कैसे जज करें? बिकॉज C has claimed 1000, the person spent 1000 as well, but can we judge him or her? The answer is no. This puts a question mark on C. Why the question mark? Because he or she does not have the scope to showcase his or her qualities. Had it been 1200, had it been 900, had it been 800, and then if C would have claimed the exact amount, say 800 to 800, or if C would have claimed more than the spent amount, that is the buffer that would have been between the allotted and actual spent, then would have known that what is C's values as such, right? तो यहाँ पे इससे ये पता चल रहा है कि character is only showcased when you have the opportunity to do some wrong, right? Your character will be showcased when you have power. Suppose today I do not have anything as such, right? I'm just a normal person and I say I'm very ethical. Okay, well and good. Tomorrow I become some very big personality, say a big businessman. Now I have to choose between 2 to 3 people, and I'm hiring men at higher posts than women. Then I am being of parochial mindset. That does not reflect my ethical principles, right? इससे पहले कि आप कुछ भी बोल दें कि आप कितने अच्छे हैं या कितने बेहतर हैं, ये तभी पता चलेगा जब आप के पास ये साबित, आपके पास गलत करने की क्षमता और शक्ति दोनों होगी, और फिर भी आप सही करेंगे. तब पता चलेगा कि आपके नैतिक जो मूल है वो कितने अच्छे हैं. I'll translate myself into English. The moment you have authority to do some wrong, right, and yet you do the correct thing, that is the time when your character will be reflected, your ethical principles will be reflected, right? So here we cannot judge about C because C does not have the scope to do anything, neither positive nor negative. So the case is complicated here. It's complicated, but A और B में तो हमने judge कर लिया. So what I tried to tell you about ethics here is, or the principles, the ethical values that we have, they are only showcased when you have the authority to do so, right? आज अगर आपके पास कुछ नहीं है, आप बोले मैं बहुत ईमानदार हूँ, अरे है क्या जो ईमानदारी दिखाओगे? कुछ होना भी तो चाहिए. When you have the authority, when you have the power, what is power? Power means the ability to influence. That I certainly do not have today maybe. But tomorrow if I have the ability to influence, if I have the power and yet I do not choose to use it in the wrong way, I choose to use it in the right way, that is the time my moral principles and my ethical principles will be reflected in the right sense. Okay? And corruption में एक line Lord Acton has given us. लॉर्ड एक्टन जो आप लोगों ने सुनी ही होगी, which is related to the things that I told just now. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Is it true that power corrupts? Well, you have seen here, this person had the scope A but did not. But एक्टन की वही लाइन को अगर हम और अच्छे से देखें तो पावर करप्ट्स के बाद वो कहते हैं absolute power corrupts absolutely. That in a sense he reflects that the greater the degree of autonomy, the greater the degree of power that you have, greater will be your discretion and greater shall be the corruption that you pertain. इसीलिए what we discuss about is separation of powers, what we have done in our constitution as well. Separation of power, though separation of power is not explicitly mentioned. Who is the propounder of separation of power? Montesquieu. Don't worry, I'm not going to be telling you about more philosophers, but just last one. Let's say separation of power. Separation of power, who gave it? Montesquieu. Propounder, not gave it. ठीक है? My writing is really, if you don't understand my writing, I'm really sorry for that. In his book Spirit of Laws, इनकी book है Spirit of Laws, Montesquieu mentioned that all power shall not be exercised by a single body. A single body shall not exercise all the powers. And this is the very genesis of separation of powers. This line, this book, Spirit of Laws, the line says that one body shall not exercise all the powers. इसीलिए we have different branches, है ना? All the democratic countries have different branches: legislative, executive, judiciary. ठीक है? ताकि power separated रहे and no one has absolute power in it, because absolute power, if goes in the right hand, great, remarkable growth, everything you'll see. But what if the absolute power goes into wrong hands? That's why we say no, कि a bad constitution in good hands will be good than a good constitution in bad hands, right? So the principle so given by Montesquieu, separation of power, is very relevant, because we in India do not explicitly follow the principle of separation of power. Rather, we have a system of checks and balances. वो polity हो जाएगा. But what I'm trying to convey here is, people say कि corruption is something that is never ending. ठीक है? I'll be emphasizing on corruption for the meanwhile. People say corruption is never ending. Some people even say that it is essential. I don't know how those people come up with the क्या कहना चाहिए, तर्क, how those people come up with arguments justifying corruption. I don't know, because corruption, often people say corruption is something that fastens the process. Does it really? Now you yourself think about it. Corruption does not fasten the process. Corruption actually delays it. ठीक है? The person who is corrupt is actually withholding. For instance, let's just consider you have to get a NOC from an organization, right? Now you go to the office, the person there asks for bribe. ठीक है? The person there asks for bribe. Now you refuse to pay. He is not clearing despite of you having all the essentials. Now where you'll go? You may go to the higher authorities, you may seem that, but we'll leave that part a bit for now. Just focus here कि आप गए वहाँ पे NOC में साइन करवाने के लिए. This person is asking for money. You pay the money, you pay the bribe. It's done instantly, right? But if you don't pay, he is delaying the work. So corruption is not fastening the process. It has to happen. The person is delaying the process. The corrupt are delaying the process. It's not corruption will fasten your process. ज़्यादा पैसा दे दोगे जल्दी काम हो जाएगा. No. They're only expecting money because it has become, like a convention. People do not raise voices against this, so you should be doing it. वैसा नहीं है कि करप्ट होना, करप्ट लोग नहीं है या फिर सिस्टम सही नहीं रहने देता, ऐसे सब फालतू की बातें. If you have, keep your hands clean. What else you're afraid of यार? फिक्र करता है क्यों, फिक्र से होता है क्या? फिक्र करता है क्यों, फिक्र से होता है क्या? रख खुद पे हौसला और देख फिर होता है क्या, है ना? तो खुद पे भरोसा रखिए. कीप योर हैंड्स क्लीन. व्हाट एल्स डू यू नीड हियर? राइट. नाउ कमिंग टू ethics. Now I hope that you guys are clear on corruption on some degree. Coming back to ethics. Now करप्शन की तो बात हो गई, मैंने बोल भी दिया कि यार एथिकल लोग हैं, बहुत हैं, बट क्या हमको कहीं देखने को मिलता है एथिक्स? मिलता है, बताता हूँ अभी. I need to get a new duster here. This is very slow. Now, ethics, we got to know why do we need ethics. Also, we got to know what is ethics, right? The why of ethics and how what of ethics in a gist you guys know now by now. ठीक है? Ethics कहीं दिख रहा है क्या? Often we question this in ourselves कि is the world ethical? Is the world really ethical, dude? I mean, are there people having ethics as their priority? Because we often see कि अरे यार कुछ नहीं है, सब तो corrupt हैं, हम भी बन जाते हैं, system ईमानदार नहीं रहने देता. All these things I don't think are true. I will tell you an exemplary example of ethics, that is MSF. I don't know the spelling, so I'll write in Hindi only. Medical ही लिख देता हूँ मैं. I don't remember the medical science frontier, right? Medical science frontiers. Frontiers, TE frontiers से लिख देते. ठीक है? शायद ही आता है यहाँ पे. Anyways, what is medical science frontiers? Medical science frontiers translates into Doctors Without Borders. Doctors Without Borders. Doctors Without Borders, this organization was set up in 1971. I think it has French origin. Not sure. Anyways, what is the purpose of medical science frontier? They serve to alleviate the human suffering. ठीक है? What value they're showcasing here, यार? What value they're showcasing here? क्या वैल्यू शोकेस कर रहे हैं? Why do they have to serve without like outside of their country or outside of their home? Why? Kindness as a value, sympathy as a value, kindness, service, all these values are reflected upon by them. And one of the most important values that they also reflect here is neutrality. The organization MSF works irrespective of any categorization, irrespective of any silos that are so created by society or political norms. ठीक है? Political boundaries होती हैं, ये तो हैं ही without borders, है ना? They work for the alleviation of human sufferings. The human sufferings could be due to natural calamities, due to wars, due to other anthropogenic reasons or natural reasons. ठीक है? MSF, why do they do it here? The healthcare professionals, not just doctors, let's take it as an umbrella term. Let's take an umbrella term, the medical or healthcare professionals. Healthcare professionals currently are one of the most burdened community, at least in our country. I recently read this news, of late नया ही है, more than 30% I guess medical PG students are under mental stress. हम डॉक्टर का ही मेंटल स्ट्रेस को ठीक नहीं कर पा रहे, वो हमारा कैसे करेंगे? ठीक है? लगातार शिफ्ट्स 36 आवर्स की शिफ्ट भी करते हैं और मे बी 2 days continuous shift. They do not even have proper sleep schedule. They do not have proper infrastructure and everything for them to take rest and all. So there are a lot of problems that they do face, but still they are serving. Why? The values they uphold. And in medicine, you must be aware, medical ethics आप लोगों ने पढ़ा होगा, जो भी medical students अगर ये देख रहे हैं, medical ethics you must have read, and other people, business students, you must have read business ethics. Engineering में भी कुछ you must be having your domain specific ethics like engineering ethics या जो भी होगा in an organization that is needed, right? So MSF works on the principle of neutrality and also kindness. What is kindness? Kindness is an act done. Kindness, we'll be covering the keywords in later classes. It has just come up with this example, so I'm telling you. Kindness is that act done for benefiting, or not to say benefiting, for the good of others, for the good of others, for in order to alleviate the sufferings, or let's just say for the good of others. Any act so done for the good of others without any expectation of reciprocity. ठीक है? Do you know the principle of reciprocity? Principle of reciprocity means basically आप जो कर रहे हैं उसके बदले में आपको क्या मिलता है ना? If I am today here giving you class, what I'm expecting in reciprocity? I'm expecting your tarif, I'm expecting your good gestures so that I continue it. If you people will say that नहीं अच्छा नहीं लग रहा, I'll stop doing it, right? So that is what reciprocity is. But kindness is something that does not want or does not expect anything in return. Are they expecting anything in return यार? ये तो दूसरी जगह जाके सर्व कर रहे हैं. They are serving to the poorest of the poor people. What they're getting there? पैसे तो देंगे नहीं वो. बहुत सारे डॉक्टर्स फ्री में ओपीडी करते हैं, उनको पैसे मिलते हैं क्या? नहीं मिलते हैं ना. And other examples of ethical conduct, this is one of the most exemplary example of ethical conduct. Other than this, UN पूरा ही ले लो यार, यूनिसेफ ले लो या तो कोई स्पेसिफिक ऑर्गन लेना है तो ठीक है, और UN का वो ले लो, पीस कीपिंग. इंडिया ने कितने बार यहाँ पे मदद किया है. Malala Fund is a fund for girls education. Malala naam se you can understand Malala Yousafzai, one of the very prominent leaders for education of Muslim women especially. And the line that she said is very essential. With a gun you can, I'm quoting Miss Malala Yousafzai, a very good line she said once, ki, with gun you can kill terrorist, but with pen you can kill terrorism, right? So बहुत ज़रूरी है आप सबका पढ़ना, इसीलिए पढ़ाई किया करिए, है ना. और these are all examples of ethics, and I would like you to just pause here for a while, introspect yourself and think about yourself and come up with examples that you yourself have been ethical in. Places where you showed ethical conduct of yourself, places where you showed something positive, some positive values. Pause for a while. Okay, I believe you must have done that, and if you have not, then I can tell you how. अच्छा नहीं, let's not go deep in that because values का पढ़ेंगे तो फिर that will be a whole another video. We'll be covering the key parts and key themes later. So other people may leave now because I'll be talking about the paper now, GS4. ठीक है. I'm just gonna speak. I'm not gonna write anything. So aspirants of civil services examination, you might listen to the short speech I'll be giving now. ठीक है. Okay, so what exactly is written in the UPSC syllabus? GS4 का पेपर है ethics, integrity and aptitude. ठीक है. Ethics, integrity and aptitude is the name of the paper, the title of the paper, but we often just shorten it to just ethics, right? Ethics बस बोल देते हैं. But उसमें क्या क्या है GS4 में? You have two sections. One section would be of case studies and the other section would be about the syllabus, the topics, the essence of ethics, the value, human values and all that, right? तो जो case studies हैं, that is very what you can say subjective kind of thing, right? ऐसा कभी नहीं होगा कि आप सही हैं या गलत हैं. The rationale behind making those decisions in case studies, only for the case studies I'm telling you, right? That will be showcasing what exactly do you need, what exactly do you possess. Okay? So UPSC wants you to have that ethical principles, ethical values embedded in yourself. UPSC is not going to ask you कि कांट की फिलोसफी क्या है, मॉन्टेस्क्यू ने दिया था ये, लॉर्ड एक्टन ने बोला करप्शन के बारे में, तो क्या लगता है आपको? हो सकता है देख मे राइट पावर करप्ट्स, इलेबोरेट, इसमें ऐसा कुछ क्वेश्चन दे सकते हैं, राइट? वो दे सकते हैं, दे कैन डू इट वेरी वेल. बट what they actually want you to understand is, what did Kant say, what did Aristotle say? Did that get inside your head? Did the values, did the principles, did the reasoning, did the rationale get inside you? That's what they're searching for, right? So ethics is something which is very subjective kind of thing here. Ye paper, as what the professor who taught me said this line to me, and I will pass it on to you. He said, search the paper within yourself. Don't expect teachers or anyone to give you notes. Rather than going after notes, search the paper within yourself and write what you have done. All those keywords, prepare for examples from your own life. You must be coming up with examples. और फिर कुछ है ही नहीं एग्जाम्पल, तो फिर बनाना ही पड़ेगा आपको, और क्या करोगे? क्योंकि अगर पूछ लिया तो क्या लिखोगे, राइट? बट बेटर यू विल फाइंड इट सम ऑफ द अदर. स्मॉलर डिग्री में भी हो सकता है. इफ दे आस्क अबाउट लेट्स से काइंडनेस, आपने किसी को रोड क्रॉस करा दिया, किसी को कहीं छोड़ दिया, बुजुर्ग इंसान को, वो भी काइंडनेस है. अपाहिज को किसी को आपने मदद की, सम फिजिकली डिसेबल्ड पर्सन को टू क्लाइंब स्टेयर्स, दिस इज ऑल्सो काइंडनेस. Not to the great degree that you might see in news or anything like that, but you are doing it at your level, यार, that is good enough, है ना? तो GS4 में keywords हम लोग करेंगे. we'll be doing keywords topic, we'll be doing the topics. I'll be breaking it down into keywords more specifically so that it gets easier for you to learn about it. And ज़्यादा analytical है, technical factual तो है नहीं ये subject, है ना? So it will be more analytical, it will be more subjective, so to say, right? You cannot learn and you cannot just mug up the facts and everything. You cannot, because this subject makes you ponder upon things. So this is very good actually. सोचने पे मजबूर जो कर देना आपको, वो बहुत अच्छा वो होता है. When I joined my graduation for the first time, undergrad, in the first semester we got an assignment कि it was upon ourselves only. I don't remember the topic, but that was the time when I in-depth introspected myself. So this subject is something that will make you a better person in decision making. That's what I can say if you read this properly. अब मैं कितना अच्छा पढ़ाऊँ ना पढ़ाऊँ अलग बात है, बट आप अगर अच्छे से पढ़ लें, मुझे नहीं पता हम हाउ, बट मैं कितना अच्छा पढ़ा पाऊँगा. I'll try my best. बट आप अगर इस सब्जेक्ट को अच्छे से पढ़ते हैं तो definitely it will help you in life, not just in your profession but in your life as well, right? Because the principles and the reasoning that you put behind making your decision, that's what matters the most. Your ability, your what you say competency, your abilities, your competencies, your positives, your knowledge, your wisdom, everything at the end boils down to the point that are you a good person or not, है ना? ठीक है? क्योंकि यहाँ पे आपको जितना भी ज्ञान हो जाए, कितना कुछ आपको आ जाए, पर अगर आप के पास those you're not honest. For instance, if someone is corrupt and he does not know the process, then he does not have the knowledge, then there is no harm. But if someone who has the knowledge and then that person is corrupt, that's a very deadly combination, right? Do you understand? You're getting my point, what I'm trying to say. But if someone is not so intelligent but very very upright, very क्या कहना चाहिए, सत्यनिष्ठा से भरा हुआ इंसान है, very ethical, नैतिकता से भरा हुआ इंसान है, very ethical and just above average, that person is far better than someone who is not ethical and intelligent. And as what in Harry Potter, the ones who have the Potterheads here, you must have heard this line. Dumbledore said that, Professor Dumbledore said that It is our choices that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities. So it's our choices that showcase what we truly are, far more than our abilities, right? It's not the ability to mug up all the answers or to topping the examination or become some big CEO in a company or become any big businessman, industrialist. What have you done that matters? What values that you put up, what values that you have. Mr. Ratan Tata, though a very big businessman, but the respect that he earned was not because of becoming successful as an industrialist. The success of his is rather attributed to the values, the human values that he had, right? And another Urdu couplet that I remember is, मुझे मेरे दो चार ख्वाब इस आसमां से दूर, उस आसमां से दूर चाहिए, मुझे मेरे दो चार ख्वाब उस आसमां से दूर चाहिए, जिंदगी भले ही गुमनाम रही हो मेरी, लेकिन मौत मुझे मशहूर चाहिए. So basically it means that आपने कितना कुछ किया, कितना कुछ पाया मॉनेटरी टर्म्स में या कितना सक्सेस हुए, उससे ज़्यादा मैटर करता है कि एक्चुअल आपने ह्यूमन कनेक्शंस कितने बनाए, द ह्यूमन वैल्यूज दैट यू हैव पुट अप, है ना. सो दिस उर्दू कपलेट आई ऑल्सो डोंट हैपन टू नो किसने बोला है, सो क्रेडिट्स टू द ड्यू क्रेडिट्स टू द ओनर. And ethics, we will be proceeding with keywords and everything. This was just an introductory class just to sort of introduce you with what exactly ethics is and why we need ethics. I hope you would have understood a little, if not much. And from the next class of ethics, we'll be dividing it into keywords, and then we will be doing those keywords. And uske baad case studies ka, I don't know if I'll take up classes on that, but case studies का ये है कि the decision that you make, more than the decision in the case studies, more than the decision, what matters is your rationale behind the decision for the case studies. I'll just illustrate with an example, very interesting example. Suppose एक natural calamity आ गई है. Now you are a rescue officer, ठीक है, or you are the DM, let's say. आप अभी DM है वहाँ पे, and DM is also the district disaster management officer, ठीक है. Now there is this one person, this person is stuck here, it's all flooded, and there are here ठीक है. This happens to be the local MLA or any politician, MLA, MP, anyone, any politician ही ले लो, चलो रहने दो, है ना, MLA, MP. These are commoners. This is very basic example I'm telling you. And this is you with your car, बत्ती वाली, लाल लाल रंग से बना देते हैं, है ना, ठीक है. Now you come here, who are you going to save first of the two? That's the big question. Many of you must be saying कि टाइम इतना ही है कि आप एक को मैनेज कर सकते एक जगह. This लेट्स से ये बीच में बाढ़ आ गई है, ये दो जगह फंसे हुए हैं और आपके पास रिसोर्सेज इतने ही हैं दैट यू कैन, दो द रिसोर्सेज आर इनफ टू अकोमोडेट अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल, बट टाइम इतना नहीं है कि आप दोनों जगह भेज सकें, ठीक है. सो यू सेंड इट हियर और हियर, व्हाट यू गोना डू? पॉज द वीडियो, थिंक अबाउट इट. आई अज्यूम यू वुड हैव डन दैट. नाउ बहुत सारे लोग बोलेंगे कि यार आम आदमी को ही बचाएंगे. सही बात है, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 लोग हैं भाई, इनको बचाएंगे. 11 इज ग्रेटर देन 1, नो. आपने इसमें रीजनिंग दी 11 इज ग्रेटर देन 1, वेल इनफ. किसी ने आंसर कर दिया आई विल सेव दिस पर्सन, तो 1 इज ग्रेटर देन 11 क्या? ये लॉजिक तो यहाँ नहीं लगेगा, तो क्यों सेव इनको? जस्ट बिकॉज ही इज एन MP एंड MLA, दैट इज द रीजन दैट यू कैन गिव? नो, यू कैन नॉट गिव दैट रीजन, बिकॉज rule of law in our constitution is a part of basic structure. और आप तो यही पॉलिटी पढ़ के ही तो यहाँ आए हो, आपको तो पता है कि रूल ऑफ लॉ है, एवी डाइसी ने दिया है आर्टिकल 14 के अंदर एम्बॉडीड इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में, है ना। आप क्या करोगे? What reasoning you can give here is, we will save the MLA or the MP and use the local support of the MLA. There are a lot of party workers, a lot of helpers to the elected person in the assembly or the parliament, जिसको इंडिया में कार्यकर्ता कहते हैं, पार्टी कार्यकर्ता. आप इनको बचाएंगे. There are thousands of volunteers who would voluntarily and happily come out and save these people. So why don't you think that those people, you do not have the resources at the given example, right? But इनके जो supporters हैं, इनके पास कुछ तो resources होंगे. Why don't you think in a manner कि we will save this person, and यहाँ पे जाइए आप कार्यकर्ताओं को बोलिए, वो खुशी खुशी इन सबको बचा लेंगे. Win-win for everyone. So is this the right answer? Again, no, that is not the right answer. This is just something that is subjective. ये logic भी ठीक है, 11 लोग ज़्यादा हैं एक से. This logic is very good enough. The logic that I gave, take the support or harness the support of party workers, that is also a good enough example. गलत तो नहीं है, ठीक है. तो बहुत सारे ऐसे केस स्टडीज इंटरेस्टिंग आते हैं, कुछ वी विल ट्राई टू डू, बट बिफोर दैट वी विल बी कवरिंग द वैल्यूज़, जो कीवर्ड्स हैं इंपॉर्टेंट, एसेंस ऑफ एथिक्स, फिर काइंडनेस, फॉरगिवनेस, ये सब जितने भी कीवर्ड्स आएंगे एक एक करके वी विल बी डूइंग द कीवर्ड्स. एंड और तो कुछ खास आज के लिए है नहीं. वी विल बी डूइंग दिस. आई सीरियसली नीड अ न्यू डस्टर मैन. दिस इज रियली हार्ड टू रब. My whole board will fall off, it feels like. So that's it for today's class. I hope you got something about ethics, and we will be proceeding further with the keywords explaining. I will be proceeding further with explaining the keywords to the subject, and yeah, that's it for today.